In this unit, we are going to cover the Deceptive Trade Practices Act. We're going to talk about the lemon law, documentary fees that you can charge to your customer. We'll go over advertising regulations. We'll talk about exporting motor vehicles, and I'm going to show you how to easily find state laws. The Texas Attorney General is not only the chief law enforcement office in the state, the Attorney General's office also protects consumers from scams and fraudulent business practices. The main tool the Attorney General's office uses to protect Texas consumers is known as the Deceptive Trade Practices Act. This law lists many practices that are false, deceptive, or misleading. When someone falls victim to illegal practices that are covered by the Deceptive Trade Practices Act, they may have the right to sue for damages under the Act. If they win the lawsuit and say, for example, prove that a dealer knowingly deceived them, they may be eligible to recover up to 3 times the damages. You must operate ethically and give full disclosure of any vehicle defects that you're aware of in writing, or your customers could have financial recourse against you. The lemon law. The Texas lemon law applies to new vehicles purchased from franchise dealers or leased from franchise dealers. There is no lemon law relief for used motor vehicles purchased if they have no remaining factory warranty. The lemon law requires manufacturers to notify buyers of their right to compensation if a vehicle is defective. It requires auto manufacturers to repair or replace lemon vehicles within a reasonable period of time. The lemon law generally does not involve a used motor vehicle. It is normally related to new motor vehicles that are purchased directly from a franchisee. If you purchase a motor vehicle to resell and later discover that vehicle was part of a buyback program and the vehicle still has remaining warranty, you could have recourse with the manufacturer. You will have customers enter your dealership and demand you make major repairs to a vehicle they purchased from you some time ago because of the lemon law. Be sure to direct them to the manufacturer of the vehicle. Documentary fees. A dealer selling a motor vehicle can charge a fee for preparation of documents related to the sale, and the fees are actually regulated by the Texas Office of Consumer Credit Commissioner. There are 2 different documentary fees that are allowed under the law: $150 or less. A dealer is not required to provide notification or a cost analysis to the Office of Consumer Credit Commissioner before charging a documentary fee of $150 or less. Over $150. Before charging a documentary fee that is greater than $150, a dealer must provide both a notification and a cost analysis to the Office of Consumer Credit Commissioner. If you're charging a documentary fee of $150 or less, you're not required to notify the Office of Consumer Credit Commissioner. If you plan on charging more than $150, then you must provide written notification to the Office of Consumer Credit Commissioner stating the amount and the reason for the amount. The Office of Consumer Credit Commissioner only accepts documentary fee filings through their Application Licensing Examination Compliance System. That's their ALEC system that we discussed earlier in the course. If you plan on charging more than $150 documentary fee, you will need to go to the ALEC system of the website. And once again, that stands for Application Licensing Examination Compliance System. And you can see the website on your screen, and that website will also be in the manual. So when you jump on here, as with any secure website, you're going to need to first register. And over to the right there, you can just click on the Create Account button. And be sure to always save a copy of your usernames and passwords for all the websites that you're creating accounts to. So once you've created your username and password, you will enter your username and password, and you're going to log right into the system there. And you'll need to click on Manage My Business. Then over to the right, you'll click on the Doc Fee Filing button. And then on this page, you'll enter your documentary fee and your contact information. And then finally, you will want to make sure all the information is correct, and you will need to clearly describe why you are charging the higher documentary fees in the comments section. You'll need to upload any additional documents, and this automated system will easily walk you through the next required steps. You are allowed to charge the documentary fee to cover the cost of completing all of the necessary paperwork that is involved in a motor vehicle transaction. It's real important to note that a Texas dealership is not required to charge the documentary preparation fee. And if you are charging a documentary fee, you may never call it a government fee. If you have any questions about charging documentary fees, you can call the Office of Consumer Credit Commissioner at 800-538-1579, and that number is scattered throughout your manual as well. Advertising regulations. The following advertisement regulations apply whether you are advertising in print, radio, television, display, all forms of internet advertising, and any other type of ad medium. Advertisements by dealers must be accurate, clear, and conspicuous. One point to always remember is that once you have gained your Texas dealer's license, you will no longer be advertising vehicles by owner. You're not going to be a owner anymore. You're going to be a dealer. So you will have to advertise as a dealer. And I want you to be aware the Texas Department of Motor Vehicles has several rules and guidelines when it comes to dealer advertising. The advertising rules that we are getting ready to cover are actually located in Title 43 of the Texas Administrative Code in Chapter 215, Subchapter H. And in just a couple of moments, I'm going to show you how to easily look up codes and statutes and rules. In order to advertise a used motor vehicle, the title of the vehicle must be assigned to the dealer, and the vehicle must be in possession of the dealer at the time the advertisement is placed. Your advertisements may never be false, deceptive, or misleading. And, any photograph of a vehicle being advertised must be substantially the same as the vehicle being sold. So you can't run, an ad with a picture of a 2021 Cadillac Escalade and then the actual vehicle on the lot is a 1996 Chevy Tahoe. You want to make sure that all photographs of the vehicle being advertised must be substantially the same as the vehicle being sold. I want to cover some prohibited advertising practices such as untrue claims. The following words and phrases are prohibited in dealer advertisements. You can never have statements such as write your own deal, name your own price, name your own monthly payments, or other statements with similar meaning. You can never use statements such as everyone financed, no credit rejected, we finance anyone, and other statements that no applicant will be refused, or statements such as all applications accepted or no credit application refused. Those type of statements are never allowed. However, statements such as financing available or conditional offer of credit, however, are acceptable and they may be used in your advertising. Stating that no other dealer can give you more for your trade-in, it cannot be used unless the dealer can prove such statements are true, which is very difficult to prove. Stating that you can sell vehicles at lower prices than other dealers because of your size or inventory may never be used. The advertised price must include all costs and charges for the vehicle, including destination and dealer preparation charges. The only charges that are not required to be included in the advertised price would be tax, title, license, and any fees that are allowed by state laws, such as documentary fees and state inspections. Here are some more prohibited advertising practices. The following statements are never allowed in any dealer advertising. Internet pricing. The term internet price or e-price or similar terms that lead a buyer to believe they're paying a different price for a vehicle sold online are never allowed. Advertising vehicles at cost. You may never advertise that you will be selling vehicles at cost because of the difficulty in determining what the actual dealer cost would be. You may also never use the term invoice or invoice pricing in any advertisement. Trade-in guarantees. You may never advertise a guaranteed trade-in allowance. You may also never advertise that you will give a certain amount, say for example over Blue Book or Black Book or some other pricing guide. Advertising free items. You may never advertise free items unless the items are free for everyone, regardless if they're a customer. So, for example, if you advertised free hot dogs on a radio ad and a person comes in to your dealership requesting a free hot dog, you could not tell the customer they must take a test drive in order to receive the free hot dog. Free items that you advertise are going to be free to everyone, regardless if they're a customer or not. Going out of business sales. You may never run a going out of business sale or a closing out sale or shutting doors forever sale or liquidation sale or bankruptcy sale or other similar phrases indicating a dealership is closing its operations. Okay, so never run any advertisements that are similarly worded to those. Lowest price guarantees, so you can never claim to offer the lowest prices guaranteed or other similar worded advertisements cannot be used. A dealer may offer a meet or beat guarantee if all the terms of the guarantee are in writing. The term dealer's cost or other references to the cost may never be used. So always keep that in mind. Used vehicles. When a used vehicle is advertised, the vehicle must be identified as used or pre-owned. And I want to repeat that because I'm assuming that you're getting a used motor vehicle license and will be selling all used vehicles. So when a used vehicle is advertised, the vehicle must be identified as used or pre-owned. A used vehicle must not be advertised in any manner that creates the impression that it is new. So you can't use terms such as program car, special purchase, factory repurchase, or other similar terms. They cannot be used to identify a motor vehicle as used. You definitely want to have the words used or pre-owned. So since you're going to be selling used motor vehicles, just make sure that you have that one of those word combinations in there. Bait and switch advertising, which is sometimes referred to as bait advertising. Bait advertising tactics violate Texas and federal laws. Bait advertising occurs when a supplier, such as a dealer, offers goods or services, such as a vehicle, for sale, but the offer is not really a bona fide offer to sell that vehicle. An offer is considered not in good faith if the dealer misrepresents an important aspect of the product, or if the dealer secures the first contact with the customer through deception, or if the dealer discourages the sale of an advertised product in favor of a costlier product. So you don't want to discourage the sale of an advertised vehicle in favor of a costlier vehicle. Advertises a specific vehicle, sells the vehicle, and then tries to switch the future customer to a non-advertised vehicle. So let's say, for example, you advertise a 2020 Corvette in your local newspaper, and the first person that sees it loves it and buys it, and then a second person comes in and states they would like to see the Corvette they saw in the paper. I would recommend saying something like, I'm sorry, we sold the Corvette you saw in the paper. I will call you when we get another one that is just like it. What you never, ever want to say is, we sold that Corvette, but you have to come over here and take a look at this Nissan Z that we got in a couple of days ago. What you did in this scenario is you baited the customer in off of an ad, then switched the customer to something that was not in the ad, which is a violation of state and federal advertising laws. Remember, you may never bait and switch. The advertising methods discussed apply to all forms of media, including print, television, radio, billboard, and all forms of internet, including but not limited to Craigslist, Facebook Marketplace, or eBay, or your own dealership's website. You know, by the way, there is a reason that every other ad on the radio, TV, and newspaper is a dealer ad, because advertising has proven to lead to an increase in foot traffic to dealerships. So when you obtain your dealer's license, you may want to consider advertising because it can lead to much more traffic to your dealership. Exporting motor vehicles. I want to cover exports with you. And, you know, maybe you are starting that dealership on that intersection or highway and will be selling vehicles to persons that pass by, or maybe persons that see your ads in your local news or advertising. And, you know, that's great. And obviously that is the foundation of our industry. But you never really have to limit yourself to selling locally, because the world is your market. There's a great need for motor vehicles throughout the world, and you will be able to seize this opportunity by exporting vehicles to other countries. But the Texas Department of Motor Vehicles has very strict guidelines to follow when you are exporting vehicles to other countries. Texas law requires any dealer that is exporting a vehicle to comply with Texas's motor vehicle exporting procedures. Any dealer who sells motor vehicles to foreign buyers are actually required to verify the identity of the buyer and stamp the title showing that the vehicle is an exported vehicle. And you know, this rule was actually passed at the request of dealers. And it's designed to give the Texas Department of Motor Vehicles one more tool to reduce curbstoning. And the rule is known as the foreign buyer rule, and it's directed at those foreign dealers and buyers who buy vehicles in Texas on the pretext of exporting to Mexico and other countries, but instead illegally sell the vehicles on this side of the border in unfair competition with Texas dealers. So many of those Texas dealers, along with a group of tax assessor collectors along the border, proposed the procedure to the Department of Motor Vehicles staff and then wrote the rule and presented it to the Texas Department of Motor Vehicles board. And the rule was worded to apply to sales to any person claiming to buy vehicles for exporting. So you're going to need to complete Form 14-312. That's a motor vehicle sales tax exemption certificate for any vehicle that is being exported, or for even any vehicle being taken out of the state. Here you see an example of a completed Form 14-312. Be sure to enter the purchaser's contact information, the vehicle information, then your dealership information. The purchaser must sign this form. So it's recommended that you send this document to the person that is buying the vehicle, have the buyer sign the document, and then mail it back to you before you ship the vehicle to the other country. The rule also requires dealers to do two things. First of all, you need to verify the identity of the buyer, and then you need to stamp the title for export only. And you'll also need to have your dealer number on there. The dealer should also obtain a copy of the driver's license, passport, or some type of photograph ID of the purchaser that's in the other country. And these copies will need to be kept in your dealer records. So as you see here, you are going to have to stamp the title for export. A for export stamp has to be on the title. So, be sure not to cover up any important information on the front of the title. The for export only stamp should also be placed on each blank reassignment on the back of the title as well. So here you see an example with the back of the title that has each blank assignment also stamped for export only. Dealers must also notify the Texas Department of Motor Vehicles whenever a vehicle is sold to a person in another country. So you must check the vehicle for export box when you're ordering a buyer's e-tag through the e-tag system through Web Dealer. If you have any questions about exporting, be sure to contact the Department of Motor Vehicles before you export a vehicle so you can always maintain your compliance. Before we end this unit, I want to talk about how to find state laws. And that way, if you ever have a question about exactly what is written in state law, you will be able to easily look up the state law. So the state of Texas has many different sets of laws, and you can search for Texas statutes, the Texas Occupational Code, and many of the laws for dealers in the state of Texas are written into the Texas Administrative Code, which is sometimes referred to as the TAC. So for this example, let's search the Texas Administrative Code. You can just go to Google or whatever your favorite search engine is and type in Texas Administrative Code. And here on this example, you'll see a direct link to the Texas Secretary of State website. Just click that link, and now you're on the Secretary of State's website. Or, you might land on another website with a direct link to the Texas Administrative Code. So you can click on the text that reads Search Texas Administrative Code. Now you are on the search section of the Texas Administrative Code. So let's search for motor vehicle dealer, and you will be able to find all the codes that contain the phrase motor vehicle dealer. So as you can see here, TAC 215.133 has lots of information about general distinguishing numbers. The Texas Administrative Code is TAC 215.137, has information about surety bonds. You can hit the next button to see even more codes that contain the text motor vehicle dealer. Here you see there are several other TAC numbers that describe the operation of a motor vehicle dealership in law. Let's go ahead and click on TAC 215.139 concerning metal dealer license plate allocations. So you can click on that link, and now you can read the Texas Administrative Code that regulates metal dealer license plate allocations. As you can see at the bottom of the screen, the word motor vehicle dealer is highlighted to show your search term. At the top right of the screen, you can also click the next link to see the very next Texas Administrative Code number. So, the state really makes it very easy to read the laws that regulate dealers. Another very easy way to view the Texas Administrative Code, along with other important codes, statutes, rules pertaining to dealer licensing and regulations, is to click on the Texas Department of Motor Vehicles link that you see right there on your screen. So you can go to www.txdmv.gov/statutes-and-rules, and you will land on the Texas Department of Motor Vehicles website page that has several direct links to several statutes and rules that affect the operation of a dealership in Texas. So you will always know how to look up codes and statutes and rules to help you maintain your compliance. I hope you find this information very helpful. Great! Hey, we have finished another unit. Let's go ahead and do our unit review. In this unit, we have discussed the Deceptive Trade Practices Act, the lemon law, documentary fees, advertising regulations. We talked about how to export motor vehicles and how to easily find state laws. If you ever want to cover any portion of this unit or any other unit, just go to the TexasDealers.com website and click on the Texas Dealer Videos link.